Thorson and Tangela too, and our host Vincent Van Dahl, and he brings it to ya! Creature features, and all creatures, and all creatures! And the creature gonna get you tonight. You better not turn out your bedroom light. He'll grab your head and give it such a bite. You may even die, just from a fright. You ain't nothing gonna be, baby. You ain't nothing gonna be alright. Cause the creature gonna get you, baby. Gonna get you tonight.
Episode 394? Really?
Really?
So close to 400, and given that we've done 60-odd Friday shows, this actually puts us rather close to 500.
You needn't remind me. Now please attend to your viewers.
Of course. Welcome to episode 394 of Creature Features. I'm your host, Vincent. The glum bloke over to this side is Livingston. While he often displays contempt for our meager program, I believe he secretly enjoys being the voice of reason for our little trio.
It takes up far too much of my time.
And over to this side, we have the lovely and charming Tangela. When she's not baking treats for the legions of animals in her menagerie, she spends her time helping the needy in soup kitchens when she is not using her own free time to pick up rubbish from the seashore. I may have perhaps fabricated part of that claim. You see, the young lass is currently on judicial probation again, and we are all doing the most we can to put her best face forward in order to avert her potential incarceration.
What did she say?
I'd rather not repeat it.
Repeat it.
She says that if she's to go back to jail, it will be for shoving you out of a third-story window.
She wouldn't dare. I know where all the bodies are buried.
Enough of all this. Let us instead chat about our guest. Shawn Thorsson is one of those unique individuals that has combined mechanical and artistic skills with a love of science fiction to create some of the most unique costumes, props, and mechanical novelties you've ever seen. Had this man been raised near Los Angeles, he would no doubt be producing some amazing items for Hollywood blockbuster films. But since he had the good fortune to be raised near this area, specifically Petaluma, he instead converted a large chicken coop into a prop factory where he creates unique items for people all over the world. Shawn will show us some of his amazing creations as we watch the Norliss Tapes from 1973. Produced by the incredible Dan Curtis, this fantastic film served as a pilot for a potential series that, sadly, NBC chose not to pick up. But it is a wonderful tale that I'm sure you'll all enjoy. So don't go away, for it is to be another night of supernatural fright right here on Creature Features. Oh, how lovely. Stay tuned. Shawn Thorsson, expert builder. Do you know if our viewers switched over to Channel 9, they could watch Hansel and Gretel?
I suppose it's an option.
It's not a very good one, is it? No, I think they'd rather see amazing creations done by Shawn and our silly movie tonight than watch Hansel and Gretel. Although it's a good story, because children get eaten.
Always a good time.
Do you have children?
Not as far as I know.
Yeah, same here. Not as far as I know either. Anyways, welcome back to the show. We're going to have fun tonight. We're joined by Shawn Thorsson, and you need to see the stuff he can create. It's, I had a tough time describing what you are. I mean, of course, you're an artist, you're a mechanic, you're an engineer, you're a technician. What's the one word that could describe what you do?
If I had one word, it'd make it a lot easier
Yes.
to challenge. Maker, but then that ends up being way too broad and nobody really knows what I'm talking about.
I've seen people say they're a maker, and then they don't make much.
Yeah, there's that.
You cannot make that claim. You make quite a bit of wonderful things.
Yeah. The challenge is every time I start thinking I know what I do for a living, some weird project comes out of left field, and it turns out now I do that too. So I've done everything from armatures to go inside of medical training dummies to joint cases for people to keep weed in their cosmetics kit to militarized lawn ornaments and the whole bunch of other stuff in between.
Militarized lawn ornaments. Yeah. You will have to provide us with a photo I could pop up so we can see this. So would this be like an exploding mailbox?
No, it's armed garden gnomes.
Armed garden gnomes. All right, so do me a favor. When we have Tangela on later, do not mention this because she's quite easily influenced.
Understood.
And she's quite talented with explosives, so we don't want to do that. All right, we're going to watch the Norliss Tapes. Have you seen this film before?
I have.
1973. It's a good film. It was supposed to be a TV series, and didn't happen. But we ended up with one good movie from Dan Curtis. He's done a lot of famous films. Did you ever see like Trilogy of Terror, the one with the little doll?
I have not.
You've seen the movie with the little doll chasing the woman around with a knife?
I've seen at least a few movies with a little doll chasing.
No, he does not know about Trilogy of Terror. We're going to have to educate him about that. And he's done a number of wonderful films. But let's go ahead and start the film, Norliss Tapes. We will see you after the break, and Shawn will have something wonderful for us to see, right?
I will.
See you soon. Friends, don't forget we've got a second YouTube channel. It's at cfextras.com. You'll find all the extra stuff we create there, so don't miss out. Subscribe today. So, Shawn, in this film, The Norliss Tapes, he, I suppose, gets kidnapped in San Francisco. San Francisco's a nice city. I can't see anything like that happening to anybody in San Francisco.
Right. Not that.
No, not that at all. Anyways, welcome back to the show. We are joined by the wonderful Shawn Thorsson, who has created this, which looks like a rather fancy hat. A chapeau. No, this is from a TV program, right?
Right. So there's a series on Amazon Prime. It's out now, based on the Fallout video games.
Right.
And years ago, we had done a bunch of random Fallout projects just for kind of hobby builds in the shop in our free time.
Right.
And of course, it turns out that some of those have gotten quite a lot of attention. So when they started producing stuff for the show, I get a call saying, "Hey, is there any way you can make more stuff for us?" So mixed in with everything else, one of the things that we ended up building was the helmets that are worn by the vertibird pilots that you see in a lot of the different episodes.
And that would be these?
That's this one.
Right.
So in order to make this, they actually provided us with the digital assets that are used in the video games to render the helmet. And then using all of our CNC machines and 3D printers and all of our other rapid prototyping systems, we were able to grow the parts and then do the finishing work and put the textures and paint and everything else on top of all that.
Because typically you would have to just work from a photograph and try to measure things and figure out what...
Yeah, historically. I mean, that's, the old school way, which is also something that we end up doing a lot of too. But it's,
for you to receive the digital...
It shortcuts a lot of the process.
Right.
It's nice because, a lot of times if I'm working with a creator that's just got a napkin sketch of something that looks vaguely like a potato and they expect it to look like a jetpack when it's done, there's a lot of back and forth and iterative process involved in getting their vision out of their brain.
That is a wonderful idea, though. Create a jetpack that looks like a potato.
I'm sure we can pull it off.
No, I can see it. Or a tomato. That would be nice. A tomato jetpack.
Excellent.
We'll shoot red juice as the fuel.
Goes faster that way.
Seeds, right? Maybe? I don't know. No, that's silly. But it would be a great ad for an Italian like spaghetti company, right? Who knows? All right, what do you say we get back to this film? And when we come back, we're going to do letters. But when we come back after that, we'll take a look at another one of your wonderful items.
Sounds good.
All right, off we go to the Norliss Tapes. Don't you go away, because if you do, I'm going to cry. High C is good fun. You drink High C, don't you? Does it still come in a can like this? What a creepy advertisement. Look at this. For a children's juice drink, it's got this creepy, what is that? The Mad Hatter, but like a statue with a creepy clown?
Would appear.
Advertisers, do not put clowns in your advertisements. It will frighten the children. Anyways, welcome back. Shawn stepped away to get another wonderful item. So we're going to take this opportunity to do mail, because you brought mail, right?
I did.
And we have mail to read, and we would like to read your mail to us, because it's important to both you and us, right?
Right. Michael
And?
Simmons from Kentucky.
Michael Simmons from Kentucky says, I am writing to you from Kentucky. Firstly, you need to show more respect to Mr. Livingston. He is a most radical and erudite dude. Well, you know, if one were to show respect to Mr. Livingston, I don't think we'd call him a most radical dude. Do you appreciate being called a most radical dude?
We are here in America.
Right. All right. And Vincent Tangella, your fashion sense is superb, but more black. Tangella, please. Yeah, she looks evil in white. You should see how evil she looks in black. It's terrible. Secondly, can you show the movie Colossus of New York? I'd never heard of it. Have you heard of it?
Never.
I haven't seen it in decades. I haven't seen it at all. So maybe we should show that one. Colossus of New York. Have you heard of this one, Tom?
Yes.
Is it good?
It is good. It's a robot.
As a robot? Mm-hmm. Oh, I like robots. All right. Thanks for writing, Michael. Next up, Mr. Livingston.
We have a package from Concord, California.
Concord, California. That's close by here, right?
Not that close.
Kelp Entertainment. No, this is what whales listen to. Kelp Entertainment. Because they like kelp.
Oh, I see. How
Oh, isn't that funny?
radically funny.
No. It could be a proper surname. What?
Kelp,
Kelp.
possibly.
Like, remember Robert Culp?
No, vaguely.
No, Robert. What's with the crows? Oh, they're going mad out there.
The hawks are flying.
Oh, is that why? You know, it's nesting season. That's right. So when a hawk goes by a nest of crows, then an entire murder of crows comes out to attack the hawk. It's
A murder of crows.
It's rather comedic, if I should say. All right. I'm a longtime fan of creature features going back to the Wilkins era. I'm also a writer and recently had the pleasure of putting together a book about another Bay Area horror host show, Creepy Coffee Movie Time. What in God's name is that?
Some vaguely similar program.
Called Creepy Coffee Movie Time. So do they eat coffee, drink coffee, eat biscuits, have tea?
I think it would have something to do with the name of the radio
No, I
TV
know what
station.
I know what it is. We've had several people on from this program.
One or two.
Right. I closed the book with a brief survey of the state of horror host shows in the aftermath of Coffee TV closing down, including a brief section about your show as place in TV history. I hope you enjoy it. Well, I'm sure we will. Look, Creepy Coffee Movie Time, the book. And let's see what he says about us. Oh, there's things in here, maybe? No? Maybe? No? Well, I don't see any photos, but no, I think our friend, what's his name? BJ West, will write a book about us someday, right?
Oh, dear.
No. It only makes sense because, you know, these guys got a book, and someday maybe we'll get one as well, right?
I don't really need one.
All right, that's it for letters. If you'd like to write us a letter of your own, visit Hello Creature Features, a little website that'll tell you how to send us an email, how to send us a package in the mail with your book, or it'll tell you how to have Tangella handwrite a letter for you, so Mr. Livingston will give it to me by mistake. We'll be right back with Shawn Thorsson, but first let's get back to the Norliss Tapes. See you soon.
This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
You know, they don't always like us interrupting the program, but this time it's for an important message, because if you're watching us on terrestrial TV or on YouTube, eliminate the commercials by watching us on Creature Features TV. It's a new thing. You help the show. You can see all our episodes and some extras as well. And it's quite inexpensive. In fact, it's so inexpensive that Tangelo went to the store and picked up a few items that cost the same as 1 month of Creature Feature TV. Like sushi. A platter of... It's not even real sushi. There's no fish in this. It's cucumber sushi. So for the same price as cucumber sushi, you can have Creature Feature TV. What else? A bag of onions. Now, we know which you would prefer. Who's going to sit home and eat a bag of onions and not watch Creature Feature TV? Get Creature Feature TV. Avoid the onions. And finally, a bottle of Drano Max Gel. Now, this is a wonderful product. However, I think you would watch Creature Feature TV more than you'd be using this to unplug your sinks. I could be wrong. Maybe you have bad plumbing. Maybe not. In any case, get Creature Feature TV. It's more delicious than Drano. You know, Shawn, if I got a nice trim like yours, I could probably fit my head in that wonderful unit.
Oh, there's tons of room in this one.
I don't think so. I've got a big head and lots of hair.
Yeah.
And lots of bone in my head as well. Anyways, welcome back to the show. We are watching the Norliss Tapes with the wonderful Shawn Thorsson, the talented Shawn Thorsson. We're going to talk about this in a moment. But first, the film. Carmel, right? So Angie Dickinson, I wonder if she hung out with Clint Eastwood.
I don't know. This is a little before he became mayor, so he probably had time, right?
But he probably had to spend some time there before they would elect him.
Fair
right?
enough.
Walk around and say hello and have ice cream cones.
Sure.
And then get elected mayor of Carmel. But, you know, of all places to be elected, I think that'd be one of the best, right?
Sure.
I mean, most of your population are transient, you know, tourists. So there's not going to be too many complaints about the roads.
True. A handful of folks that actually vote there. It's a small town.
Right, right. So what in God's name is this monstrosity?
So this is another thing we built for the Fallout show. Of course, this one we actually had built a long time before there was any production even being talked about for adaptation of the video game. So this was actually a project that we had done just kind of for showing off what we could do in the shop. So again, this was, you know, digital assets that were taken from the video game and then grown and carved and so on. And then once we had everything made, we pulled molds to be able to make it out of lighter, sturdier materials.
This is incredible.
And then, of course, there's a few found items. So the hoses you've got on either side are actually Cold War era Soviet gas mask hoses that I found in a warehouse in Czech Republic. And turns out there was a guy sitting on just hundreds of these things for some reason. So,
just the hose or the entire gas?
Turns out you could buy just the hose, yeah. So, yeah, it was kind of a lucky find.
It's not latex if it held up this long, right?
Yeah, well, there was a variety of different states. It was actually kind of funny because he was really weird about, you know, well, these ones aren't in very good shape. Like, that's exactly what I need. Send me the worst examples you've got.
Oh, right.
And if you can't clean them up, then don't bother. Just make them gross.
Right.
The thing is, in the lore, supposed to look like it's been sitting in a battlefield and neglected for a couple hundred years.
I was going to ask,
is
this supposed to be a soldier? What is this?
Yeah, so this is the helmet that goes with the T-60 power armor, right? So the idea is that there's this fusion-powered suit that you can wear into battle and make you bulletproof. It actually gets the bulk of the suits were made by another shop in the TV show.
Right.
We got hit up in a mad rush to make suits that they could knock around and like smash through walls and drag on the ground and everything else. The stunt units, yeah. Specifically, we made one that was posable, so it had a steel armature inside, and it was like a 7.5 foot tall action figure. And the first thing they did with it once they got it on set was it was in a junkyard in New Jersey, and they dragged it behind a truck for 100 yards so they could get a shot that made it look like the thing had crashed into the ground after flying.
I need to watch this program. What's it called again?
Yeah, Fallout.
Fallout. It's based on a game.
Yeah, whole series of video games.
All right, what do you say we get back to this film, and then we're going to take a look at another helmet type thing.
Sure.
And then we'll talk about a book.
Sounds good.
All right, off we go to the Norliss Tapes. Don't go away because I think the film gets better. Maybe. I don't know. Probably does. See you soon.
Hello, Vincent. This is your neighbor, John Provost. Vincent, we need to do something about Tangela. My granddaughter saw her taking Casper this morning, and he's nowhere to be found. And when my wife went to take a bath today, there was a nest of tarantulas in the bathtub. Vincent, you need to do something about Tangela.
Welcome back to Creature Features. This is both wonderful and hideous.
That means it's working.
That means it's working perfectly. Welcome back to the show. We are watching the Norliss Tapes with the talented Shawn Thorsson, who built this. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, the film. Did you know that this film, I mentioned Dan Curtis prior, he also did The Night Stalker. And this is like, you said it was like a sequel?
Well, they were going to do a series kind of like The Night Stalker.
It was a mimicry of The Night Stalker. So there's elements that are the same. Anyways, same DNA, Dan Curtis. So. We'll be wrapping that up soon, but let's talk about this. So same show, Fallout.
Same show, yeah. I apologize. All I brought was Fallout stuff because it's the closest
Fallout
thing to the door. But yeah, this is a Deathclaw skull. And it started off, again, this was a 3D printed piece, but the model that we had was a very low resolution. So it just looked like a bunch of, facets and really not very impressive.
Of handwork, I bet.
Yeah, so we sculpted right over the top of that. It didn't have any of the internal structure that you see like on the bottom here, the actual
No, that looks real.
Yeah, so we wanted to make it less computer model and more real-life creature parts. The texture on the horns was all done by hand, all the texture and the weathering and everything else to really kind of bring it to life.
I'm wondering if you can make another that I can mount to the front of my automobile.
I've got a pair in my shop I'm planning on drinking out of at some point.
You should put one in the front of your automobile. I think it'd be nice. And then put lights in the eyes.
Need that.
Right. Yeah. No. I could not do that. Although maybe in Texas I could get away with it, right?
It's not big enough.
It's not big enough. All right, got it. This is amazing. So in the show, what is this?
So there's a creature in the video games that you run into a lot. It's a pretty formidable thing out in the wasteland called the Deathclaw. It's this giant mutated, lizard thing.
Right.
So this is the skull of a dead one that's laying in the desert at one point in the show. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it shows up pretty prominently in at least one shot.
This is incredible. It's a pretty accurate anatomy as well.
We spent a lot of time looking at other animals and, what the insides look like and so on.
No, and these horns are incredible. If you saw this in person, you would be overwhelmed. But this would make a great chapeau, right? No, make it like
Gotta hollow it out.
Wear it to like a Viking festival.
Solid plan.
Or drink it like a stein, like you mentioned. All right, well, what do you say we get back to this film, and then when we come back, we're going to take a look at these books you brought.
Sure.
And after that, we'll wrap up the film and say goodbye. But for now, let's get back to the Norliss Tapes, 1973. See you soon.
Hello, this is Mr. Livingston. It would appear I have been tasked with requesting you to help our show financially by visiting our Patreon page. Your generosity will help us keep Creature Features on the air. With only a few dollars a month from you, your kindness will allow us to continue creating new entertainment for your viewing pleasure each and every week. And if you have the desire to give more, you might even receive a gift from Tangela. I think not. Please visit the website below to learn more. Thank you. Tangella. You know there'll be hell to pay if Mr. Mandel sees you playing with his camera.
Welcome back to Creature Features. We'll get to the end of the Norliss Tapes soon, but first, our guest, Shawn Thorsson, who is a builder, is actually a maker. And you've written a book on it.
Yep.
How to make... This is one of the nicest books I've ever seen on how to make things. I mean, I will just flip through this, but look at all the photos and examples, and it shows you how to make a gun, but no bullets.
Among other things.
Inside.
Yeah.
It's like a prop gun, and arms and legs, and this is incredible. So you wrote this, and this goes for $29, which is a bargain these days. And they can find this on Amazon.
Of course.
Right.
Yep.
And here's the Korean version. So if you speak Korean or prefer to read your maker things in Korean. You've got
Yeah, I
Korean
didn't do the
version too.
translation, so I actually don't know if any of the jokes land the way that I expected them to or anything like that. So,
Probably not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Typically, any language. they
well, my
never
goal
work.
in writing the thing, I wanted to make sure that if somebody read through it, even if they were never going to bother with any of the stuff that I'm trying to teach, at least it would be entertaining to read. You know, so it's at least funny on the way through the descriptions of how to do all the different things. But the goal is, if you're, just working with materials that you pick up at your local hardware store or office supply store, and the only workspace you've got for a shop is your kitchen table covered with newspapers, you can at least get away with making some pretty impressive, costume, armor, and
Which I
props
imagine
and that
that's
sort of
how
thing.
you began.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, a lot of my skill set comes from, I guess what nowadays you would say cosplay. Of course, when I started, they didn't say cosplay, they just said, "Hey, nerd." So it was
Hey,
a different
nerd,
thing.
I love that. No, that's one. No, they used to call it something else. What do they call it? No, it was like dress up. No.
Sure, yeah.
No,
Fancy dress.
Fancy
Yeah.
dress, yes. Fancy dress. No, there'd be costume contests.
Yep,
And now what do they call them? Cosplay contests?
sure, yeah.
Cosplay. I don't like that term, cosplay.
Yeah, it always sounds a little odd.
No, it sounds like a distributor where you go to buy a giant vat of cooking oil.
Yeah.
Go down to Cosplay. They have it on sale. So, no, this is wonderful. So this book is still in print.
Yep.
How nice.
Yeah, and I'm about to wrap up work on the second book, which is more of the same stuff, just different materials and different methods.
You even have an endorsement from Adam Savage saying, this book is so awesome. It makes my fingers itch. He's a nice guy.
He is.
Wonderful. All right. What do you say we wrap up this film and call it done? And when we come back, we're going to see what Tangella thinks of all this.
Sounds good.
All right. Off we go to the end of the Norliss Tapes. Don't go away after the credits, because we'll be here wondering where you are, and we might send a search party out to find you if you're not here. See you soon.
This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
Shawn, this doesn't make much sense to me. How do you use fire to keep the devil?
It's a little backwards, right?
No, you'd think he'd have some countermeasure for
Or
that.
at least feel right at home.
Right. Anyways, good movie. We'll watch it again someday. What'd you think of the film, Duff? Now, speaking English, not Korean. What'd you think of the film? All right. She liked the film. She's seen it before. It's one of those things. Anyways, how do people find out more about what you do?
The easiest way to find me is through my website. It's tndaworkshop.com.
tndaworkshop.com. That's for Thorsson and Associates,
Yep.
and not for something else.
Absolutely.
And they could find links to how to buy your books, both versions, how to hire you to make stuff,
Yep, there's a
and the
contact
link to
form.
your Etsy.
Yep. So if you want to buy combat garden gnomes to guard your garden, then that's the spot
I
where you
think
find
everyone
them.
should have those.
At least 2.
And then
Whole
you were
squad.
telling me during the break you have a big project you got coming
Yeah, we've
up.
already got, we've always got a handful of things that are kind of coming down the pipeline. The next thing that I can talk about is actually a charity program that I work with called Magic Wheelchair.
Right.
And we're actually building a costume that'll be unveiled at San Diego Comic-Con for a disabled kid that's going to be there. So it
And
should be really
it
exciting.
encompasses the chair.
Yeah, so the whole point of the program is inclusion, right? So instead of being a kid that's stuck in a chair, we turn it into something that only they get to have. So it's kind of a neat thing that, basically is designed to make other kids jealous and,
How fun.
get excited about it.
Right. No, and I imagine it's going to be rather fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming up to see us and show us all your items.
Thanks for having me.
Please come back again with the next TV series that you make helmets for. And as far as you guys go, thank you so much for watching our program tonight. We know you could have been watching Hansel and Gretel, but instead you stayed here with us, and for that reason, we love you to death. We'll see you next week, and we'll have a different movie and a different guest, and who knows what else. See you soon. So, Shawn, I'm thinking, with these wonderful helmets, I'd like to go cosplay in a similar military type thing like that silver one you showed us.
Sure.
Could I commission you to build one for me?
Yeah, I'm going to need to get a bigger printer, but we can pull it off.